that you can connect, support yourself, and basically have some things that you can keep in your self-care kit. Oftentimes I will attend a session and I will feel so wonderful and amazing when I am finished, but I forget how to access that later on. And so my intention for today is to give you some background information about journaling and breathing, but also give you some things that you can use later on. So when the need arises, you'll have access to it. And I hope to encourage you to start a practice if you're not already doing it. And if you already have a journaling and breathing practice, hopefully I can share some things with you that will add to what you're already doing. I'm not going to put anyone on the spot today and call on you. So again, feel relaxed about that. I welcome your questions and your feedback. I ask that everyone be encouraging and uplifting in their thoughts and in their responses to something else that someone else might say. I hope that you will be open to learning something new or being reminded of something that you've always known. By all means, if you have any concerns, please let me know. And again, I welcome your questions. Before we jump right in and get started, I want to do something that I call the bridge of silence. I'd like to invite you to do this visualization with me. And hopefully it'll help you just kind of settle into this moment and settle in with yourself. So if you're comfortable, please close your eyes and take a deep breath. I'd like you to visualize yourself walking in a park. A lot of green grass, blue skies around you. And you come to a pond, and you want to get to the other side of the pond. There's a bridge in front of you, and you must cross over the bridge to get to the other side. The bridge is strong and sturdy, and you feel comfortable making the trip across. Imagine that when you get to the other side of the bridge, that you will be fully present, fully here, fully engaged in now. You take steps towards the bridge, and you put your first foot on the bridge. And as you walk across, I want you to imagine yourself leaving the stress of your day behind. Take a few steps towards your present moment. Leave behind your to-do list and anything that you were working on before joining us today. Take a few more steps towards our present moment. Leave behind all the breaking news stories and the current chaos of our world. Take a few more steps into our present moment. Visualize yourself getting to the last steps on the bridge and reaching your destination on the other side. When you step off the bridge and into the grass, you're fully present for our time together. When you're ready, open your eyes. So we're going to start today by using our chat. And I hope everyone is comfortable using the chat. If there's anyone that has any concerns, please let us know. The chat is that small little conversation window at the bottom of your screen. And you can click on it and answer some of the questions I'm about to ask you. So I've got 3 questions that I would like you to respond to in the chat. if you're comfortable doing so. First question is, what is your favorite color? Second question is, what month and day were you born? And the third question is, what color is your car? I'm going to put those questions up on the screen. So again, what is your favorite color? What month and day were you born? And what color is your car? Everybody got their answers in? Oh, that's some good ones here. Okay. Chat's getting a little small. Okay. So the reason that I asked you all these questions is that I've got this amazing book here. It is called The Fortune Telling Book of Colors. And as with most books, when I saw it in the store, it was so cute. I couldn't resist from purchasing it. Like I needed more books, but I found it particularly intriguing. And according to the Fortune Telling Book of Colors, I should be able to tell a great deal about who is here with us today. So let me see some of the answers that I have here. All right, so your favorite color. We've got someone that answered green. So according to the Fortune Telling Book of Colors, if your favorite color is green, you cannot abide by others telling you what to do. You need to be free to make your own decisions. Words that describe those with a green personality. You are calm, civic-minded, compassionate, emotional, generous, sometimes jealous, loyal, patient, and stable. A career in money management or product sales would suit you. Let's see, another favorite color. Oh, purple. So if purple is your favorite color, you put others before yourself and you enjoy being needed. This extends beyond your inner circle. You enjoy having causes to support and helping out those in need. Words that describe you: alluring, artistic, compassionate, oversensitive, secretive, supportive, and a visionary. Okay, so let me see. For our car colors, someone with us today has a red car. So if you drive a red car, you have lots of energy and a vibrant personality. You are always on the go. See, I see someone has a silver car. So if you drive a silver colored car, you love glitz and glamour. And headed over here to our birthdays. If you were born, let's see, on December 27th, according to the fortune-telling book of colors, you are a capable planner and you work steadily to accomplish what needs to be done. You often harbor quiet yet lofty ambitions. On the negative side, you can sometimes seem to be detached or unfeeling, and your ambitiousness can become cold and calculated. Also, let's see. Okay, someone that was born on June 14th. You are talkative and friendly, savvy and smart, and you can adapt to any situation. On the other hand, they can be fickle and flighty and are less than responsible. So I don't know how accurate that information is, but I find that it's very amusing. I share this with you out of fun, but also just kind of as a reminder that we as a society are obsessed with personality quizzes and games, assessments and tests that tell us about ourselves. We love to seek external resources to tell us things about who we are, whether it's to confirm what we already know or if it's to discover things that we wonder about ourselves. So basically, we are fortune-telling fanatics. And I don't have any issue with this. Like I said, I shared it for fun, but I'm always intrigued when what I've read kind of hits right on the nose. But I want us to think about not being so obsessed with external resources, but I want us to think about tapping into our internal resources and using our internal resources to discover more about ourselves and how we can help ourselves and to be inspired by what we have to offer. My business, which is My Inspiration Studio, was founded on the premise of being inspired by who we are and what we bring to the world. And so today, we're going to tap into some internal resources that we all possess, that we can use to help us navigate through challenges that we face, and that we can hopefully help support us in our overall well-being. So to be clear, I have no issues with accessing external resources. I hope that we can all tap into every healthy resource that we can to help us be our best self. But today, I really want to share with you some breathing and journaling techniques that have proven to be simple, no cost, and effective ways to support your emotional, your mental, and your overall well-being, but also boost your immune system. And I think extremely important that it also helps to increase your awareness of self. So I consider breathing and journaling to be like a refuge within yourself. And I don't want to bore you today with a lot of research and information. I don't want you to feel like you're going back to your high school biology class. But I do want to be able to share with you why journaling works and why breathing works. I think that once I connected with and I really understood that this wasn't just a feel-good, it really made a lot more sense for me and why I used it. If I tell you to spend the next 10 minutes journaling about things that make you feel good, at the end of that 10 minutes, you're actually going to feel good. And you'll hear oftentimes people will say, especially lately, I've been hearing that a lot this month, I'll just take a moment and breathe, take a deep breath. And when you do that, and when you stop and you pause and you actually take that deep breath, it does feel better. But I think it's super important and super helpful to understand the why. And so today I'll be sharing with you the why and the how, and also giving you some exercises that you can do on your own. So wave at me if you are a regular journaler. If you're someone that gets down with your pen and your journal on a regular basis. All my journalers waving at me. Okay, wonderful. So wave at me if you are a sometimes journaler. You're sometimes journaler. Okay. Wave at me if you are not a journaler at all. I have no journalers. Okay. Hi, Gail. Great. Well, hopefully, those of you that are journalers today, that you will be able to look at journaling in a different way. Hopefully, I'll share some things that make you think, okay. If you're someone that journals from time to time, hopefully you'll be encouraged to journal a little bit more. And if you are someone that doesn't do it at all, I will definitely convert you by the time we get to the end today. So I'm a journal artist, which means that I make journals. And I've been making journals for about 14 years. It's kind of crazy when I think about that, but it's easy for me to think about that because I started making journals when I was pregnant with my youngest son. And I love making journals, but I love sharing about journaling and the benefits of journaling even more. I launched my life coaching business in 2010, and I started using journaling as my foundation for helping people to just figure out who they were, who they wanted to be, and where they wanted to go in their lives. And so I've spent the last decade plus really immersing myself in the art of journaling. And I've had people ask me, what exactly defines journaling? So how do I know if I'm doing it and I'm doing it right? And so my first response to that is there are no rules in journaling. And then I actually kind of had to change that a little bit later. There are a couple of rules to journaling. Always date your entries and always write authentically. Always be your really true self when you're journaling. So those are my two little rules. But journaling itself is very simple. It really is just using words and imagery to express yourself. That's it. You don't have to do it a certain way. It's not necessarily diary style writing. There's all kinds of different styles of journaling that have become really popular, particularly in the last few years. But you can do list style journaling. You can journal freestyle. You can use illustrations. You can use images, pictures. Whatever makes you feel good is appropriate journaling. So right away, get rid of what you think the rules might be. Journaling is actually an ancient practice that dates back to 10th century Japan. And even though it's a very simple practice, it has some very real physical and emotional, mental, and behavioral health benefits. The interesting thing about journaling is that it's not just the act of processing your thoughts or thinking about them that makes it so beneficial. I mean, you could actually just sit back and think about your thoughts, which can be very helpful. But when it comes to journaling, it's the actual act of writing that gives you the most benefits and creates the greatest results. According to research, journaling accesses the left hemisphere of the brain, and that's your analytical, your rational side of your brain, your thinking side. And while the left side of the brain is being occupied doing that, it frees up the right side of your brain. And the right side of your brain is your creative side. It's your feeling side. It's your intuitive side. So when you're journaling, you are allowing that side of your brain to open up. And journaling allows mental blocks to be removed and lets you use more of that brain power to understand yourself and to understand others. Journaling with pen, paper, or pencil or marker or whatever writing instrument that works for you is actually better than using a computer. Now, I always say, do what works for you, but I am just going to tell you what the research proves. And actually writing with pen in hand stimulates an area of the brain that's called the RAS. It's called the Reticular Activating System. And the RAS is a bundle of nerves that sit at the brain stem, and they filter out unnecessary information. And it allows you to let what's important to you come to the forefront of your brain. And interestingly enough, the RAS system also helps you seek information that validates your belief system. So when you learn a new word, and then all of a sudden you start hearing that new word everywhere, or you get a new car and you start seeing that car everywhere, it's your RAS system that's helping you to recognize and see things that are now a part of your belief system. They're part of your thought process. And so journaling really helps you kind of separate all of that out, gives you an opportunity to sit down and think more about things that are important to you. It slows things down and helps you to feel better and be able to tap into those areas that you want to use more. One of the great things about journaling, especially when we think about now, is that journaling actually strengthens your immune system. There are studies that show that journaling helps to strengthen your immune cells. And those immune cells are called T lymphocytes. And they've been associated with helping you to drop levels in depression, reduce stress and anxiety, lower blood pressure, and increase your positive mood and your social engagement. And journaling even has been shown to help strengthen your relationships. We also know from studies that journaling can help you heal faster after a traumatic incident. It can actually help your wounds heal faster. Journaling improves your well-being, and there was a study that was done that showed that if you, in an area, a period of time before going to the doctor, if you are journaling, you go to the doctor less than if the period of time going to the doctor, you journal less often. So if you are journaling more, studies show that you will go to the doctor less than if you're not journaling at all. I find that to be really fascinating. And I'm not saying that journaling is a cure for any illness, but journaling has actually been shown to increase mobility in people that have arthritis. It's been shown to improve lung and liver function in people that were experiencing illness in those areas. So the idea of sitting down with pen and paper is healthy. That's kind of the simplest way that I can say it. It's actually proven to be good for you. I want to share with you some of the benefits of journaling. Here we go. So journaling, I'll go over these with you just real quickly, clarifies thoughts and feelings. It helps you to know yourself better, reduces stress and anxiety, assists you with problem solving, builds self-confidence and self-knowledge, helps to determine and communicate your desires, strengthens your concentration and focus, helps to use creativity and imagination, helps to find your inner voice and wisdom, helps to let go of unwanted thoughts and experiences, and offers new perspectives. It increases your memory it boosts your immune system, and it helps to provide physical support during an illness. So I think that that's absolutely just remarkable that sitting down with pen and paper can make that happen. But I feel like for me, the most noticeable physical action that journaling does is that it slows down your thoughts so you can feel them, so you can gain clarity, and so that you can understand them. It is estimated that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000 thoughts every single day. Can you remember the last 3 thoughts that you had? I absolutely cannot. And so it's fascinating to me that I can sit with pen and paper and that my thought process actually slows down so that I can better connect with those thoughts. I want you to just take a moment and do just not so much a little journaling, but what I'm hoping that we can do today is, again, kind of help you put together a little kit that you can access later on. I want you to think about ways that journaling helps you if you are a journaler. And if you're not a journaler, I want you to think about ways that journaling might be helpful. So I would like for you to actually write this in your journal. So again, if you are a journaler and you've been doing it on a regular basis, I want you to think about and write about ways that journaling has actually helped you, or ways that you think it might help you if you're not a journaler and you want to get started. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that. Okay. Is anyone interested in sharing what they came up with?
I'll share.
Janelle, take yourself off mute.
Okay.
Go, great.
I mean, I have multiple reasons, but one of them is that, like, when I'm having a very emotional experience or time, it takes the emotions out of me so I can see it, because when it's in my head going round and round, it's not the same thing, and it just goes round and round. And when I see it, it gives me some better clarification and understanding, and it's like a purge. It gets it out and also gives me clarification and ideas of how to handle something else. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else like to share?
Yes,
Adria?
Adria, yes.
Adria. Thank you.
So it's similar to what Janelle just said. For me, when you said really slows down the thoughts, that hit very well. It slows down everything enough so that I can hear them. They're not lost in the noise, kind of like a filter, or I don't know, the shoreline where the flotsam and the jetsam is sorted out and moved away. And it allows me to process the emotions that are kind of whirling around or muddying the water, so that it is like, just like Janelle said, that clarity begins to come out. Because, a scattered mind isn't a peaceful mind. And that's what it does, is create that peaceful.
Great peace. So very true. Thank you. Anyone else like to share?
I'll also echo Janelle and Adria and also say that journaling gives me clarity as well. And what it does, just that tangible as you describe, writing across the page, it connects my mind, my body, my heart, and soul together so that things align. And I live in my head a lot. So to be able to do that kind of tangible thing and then to get up and take a walk afterwards, things just tend to line up and then work out better than if I have my own agenda and just go, 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 go. So journaling gives me pause as well.
Gives you pause. I love that. Definitely. Thank you. Anyone else like to share?
Yeah, Jonetta, this is Karen. I don't journal, but I've begun a meditation practice. And what I'd like to be able to do is to see how these things can kind of blend together and help me in some of the clarity and finding and seeing the threads that run through. So I'm looking forward to seeing how I might be able to do that through journaling.
Excellent. Thank you, Karen, for sharing that. Let's see. Miriam, did you want to share?
Yeah, thanks so much, Jonetta. I feel like writing, when I journal, I'm a semi-consistent journaler. When I'm really in turmoil and I journal, one of the benefits is that it clarifies, it organizes me so that I can, it's sort of like, it's like dumping out the junk drawer and then reorganizing it, right? So that afterwards I have real clarity about all the specific reasons I'm feeling bad, which gives me a little more control over at least I know what I need to respond to. And sometimes it surfaces things, either whole feelings I wasn't aware I was having, or connections between things that I just wasn't aware of. Those are some of the benefits for me.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else like to share?
Yeah, I would. First of all, I'd like to echo everything everybody's already said. All of those fit with me, but there's one other thing that I have found very helpful, and that is to talk to the various people in me, the shadows and the archetypes. And particularly, I have found it helpful that when somebody hooks me in some way, I realize, well, that's probably a part of me that I need to explore. And so I will have a conversation with, let's say, my wicked witch or my jealous person, just all those different parts of us that sometimes I don't want to admit are there, but they are. And so I have actual conversations with them in my journaling.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Donna.
Can I say one thing?
Sure, Janelle.
All right. It's so funny because as Donna was saying, the many persons inside of her, when I look across my journal, I see so many different styles of writing coming from me. It's like, whoa, some of it is big, some small, some slanted left, some slanted right. And I'm like, so it is like you have that different multiple personalities and you don't even realize it but you see it in the style of writing in the journal, that is, I just love that. Okay.
It is really amazing. Has anybody tried the writing with your non-dominant hand? Has anyone ever tried that exercise? Yeah, there's something that's absolutely amazing. If you've not tried that, I won't go deep into that right now, but if you've not tried that, try writing with your non-dominant hand. And it's amazing what comes out of that. And I love color, as indicated before in the book that I shared, but I love writing with different colors to either mimic my mood or just to kind of help a mood come out. Again, using imagery and, I know someone that she pretty much journals with a paintbrush. And it's an art form, truly an art form in whatever way that you do it. When I watch her just paintbrush her words, it's truly amazing. Would anybody else like to share?
I'd like to share something.
RD? Yes.
Actually, I loved what you were saying, that there are no rules in journaling. And what I always enjoy doing, I always journal or write during all the conversations with anybody on the telephone. So actually, I speak to a woman, once or twice a week, or I'm now getting phone calls from people I haven't heard from in years. So during this pandemic, obviously I'm reconnecting people. But while I'm talking to them on the phone, I always date every time. I follow rule number 1, but I'm actually writing down everything that they're saying as you're talking to me. And by doing that, I'm looking at your list, and it actually helps me create a focus, listening to them and not looking at anything else. But also, when I look back, I have now journals of all these conversations of people, either from family or friends. And now I can look back, I said, oh my gosh, this is what happened to Faith, or this is what happened to so-and-so, or this is what happened to my family, and all of those things. So in a way, it's a different type of journaling, but I really appreciate that. But I always date it, and it's actually kind of interesting. My education background is an architect, and I used to work for a very famous architect, and he always has major sketches, sketch after sketch after sketch. And the one thing he taught us was to always date your sketch.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I love to hear how different people journal. I mean, it's always so inspiring, and it continues to make my practice grow, because I'm always learning about ways that I can journal, ways that I can connect with myself, ways that I can connect with other people, ways that I can discover more about my community and what's going on. Arlene, did you want to share?
Yes, I usually journal when I'm on retreat, and I'm usually focused on a particular passage of scripture. And I am always amazed at how I can go so much deeper into that scripture, get in touch with feelings, reminding me memories that I have, relationships with people. How does this apply to people I know as well as myself? So it's a connector that way, but it also supplies me I get more in touch with my feelings, so that when I go for my spiritual direction during retreat time, I have something, that's pertinent to bring with me that I'm working. So the scripture really reveals a whole lot in that time. So that's how primarily I use it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's wonderful. Anyone else like to share? Okay.
I think Neith is saying there's,
Yes,
action in the
she said
chat,
some
which
things
is
in the
awesome.
chat. Okay, there we go. Neith said that it is a great place for me to store my creative thoughts, and it's her channeling place. I think she was responding to what Janelle was saying earlier. But yes, I do think that having a creative journal is, it's kind of like I have one that's kind of like my creative brainstorm, where I just kind of go in there and kind of get it all out and try to figure out what inspires my creativity and ways that I can continue to grow. Thank you, Neith. Anyone else like to share?
Just, I think my journaling is a good place to kind of process my dreams and to integrate them and kind of get underneath what's really going on with that.
Yes. Thank you, Kathy. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for sharing. Again, I feel like that's kind of just watering my journaling garden. It just continues to grow. And there's so many ways that you can do it, so many benefits to it. So I'm excited to go try some things that you all just shared with me. Next, I want us to dive into breath work a little bit. I think it was interesting, Karen, when you brought up that you are doing meditation and wanting to see how you can use journaling in conjunction with meditation. It was a couple of years ago when I started being very interested in combining journaling and breath work. I was always so very interested in breathing when I go to a yoga class or participate in some contemplative practice, and breathing would be a part of that. And so I started experimenting with combining the two, and I found that it's an amazing combination for dealing with stress and calming my mind and really connecting with myself. Breath work, even though the word work is in the word, is not really about working. It's not really about controlling your breath. It's about owning your breath and allowing your breath to serve you and fully nourish your body. It's about being present with your breath, and it's about slowing down and breathing deeper and adapting the release of your breath. So when you think about owning and allowing and adapting, it makes better sense. Your breath is not something to be wrangled with or to feel like you have to control it. It might get out of control, but it's something that you allow the process to happen, allow yourself to better understand, and again, adapt to what is needed for that moment. So I want to start with a breath awareness exercise, kind of the foundation of learning and understanding the breathing process starts with breath awareness. So I am going to share with you this poem by Donna Martin. And as I read the poem, I'd like to ask that you, there we go. Kind of pay attention to your breath as I'm reading. So if you're seated in a chair with your feet flat on the floor, and relax. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, please feel free to do so. When I say the words, the breath, I want you to recognize where your breath is at that moment. You'll notice that I'm going to give a pause every time I say the word, the breath. And so that'll kind of cue you in to just really notice where your breath is at that moment. Observe me, says the breath, and learn to live effortlessly in the present moment. Feel me, says the breath, and feel the ebb and flow of life. Allow me, says the breath, and I'll sustain and nourish you, filling you with energy and cleansing you of tension and fatigue. Move with me, says the breath, and I'll invite your soul to dance. Make sounds with me, and I shall teach your soul to sing. Follow me, says the breath, and I'll lead you out to the farthest reaches of the universe and inward to the deepest parts of your inner world. Notice, says the breath, that I am valuable to you, coming or going, that every part of my circle is as necessary as another, that after I'm released, I return again and again, that even after a long pause, moments when nothing seems to happen, eventually I am there. Each time I come, says the breath, I am a gift from life, and yet you release me without regret, without suffering, without fear. Notice how you take me in, invites the breath. Is it with joy, with gratitude? Do you take me in fully, invite me into all the inner spaces of your home, or carefully into just the inside door? What places in you am I not allowed to nourish? And notice, says the breath, how you release me. Do you hold me prisoner in closed up places in the body? Is my release resisted? Do you let me go reluctantly or easily? Your attitude to me, says the breath, is your attitude to life. Welcome me, embrace me fully. Let me nourish you completely, then set me free. Move with me, dance with me, sing with me, sigh with me, love me, trust me. Don't try to control me. I am the breath. Was there anything that anyone noticed in particular that they would like to share?
Yeah. What I noticed when I talked about whether you would release it or hold it, I have a tendency to hold my breath, especially under stress. And that tells me how I hold life. So that was a big wake up. That was very enlightening. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Anyone else?
Years ago, I went to an osteopath, probably 20 years ago now, maybe more than that. And the first thing she said to me is, "You've held your breath your entire life."
Mhm.
And that was a wake-up call to me. And related to that, during COVID, which so many of us are holding our breath for a variety of reasons, I've come back to taking up swimming. And one of the things I love about swimming is all I do is count my breath and count the laps.
Yeah.
And there's a much deeper sense for myself of breathing than any other time during the day, as when I just breathe and swim. And so I feel more relaxed in my breathing right now than I have for months, and I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you, Jean, for sharing that. Anyone else like to share?
I found that I found it interesting when you were talking about controlling breath and how I do want to do that, and how I appreciate you saying allowing it to come and the invitation of it, because apparently I am an oppositional defiant child. And so I was like, oh, wow. So I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you. Anyone else like to share?
I found that when the breath was going out into the universe, to the cosmos, I went there.
Hmm.
When it said, come into the deepest part of your being, I went there. So where the poem was directing me, I went. And of course, then that strengthens focus and awareness.
Thank you for sharing.
Jonetta, I've been thinking a lot about breath lately as I have lost some very dear friends. And there's something about breath and presence that seems quite complex, right? Because breath, I wanted to say to myself at the end of the poem you were reading, I am because of breath. And there certainly is a part of that that's true, but there's also an I am that transcends breath. So presence, breathing, and presence in the absence of breath are interesting.
They are indeed. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. But thank you, Sarah. Anyone else like to share? I think Marion put something in the chat here. I thought I saw something. There it is. Noticing how many places my breath can be, in my nostrils or my throat, in my chest, moving or being held in. Thank you, Marion. So when we think about breathing and breath, it really is, it's amazing. We do have this very profound relationship with our breath. It is our life force. And so while you were speaking, Sarah, I was thinking about that, is that we come into this world screaming. You know, that's what the attendees in the room look out for us to scream so they know we are breathing. And when we leave this world, The attendees in the room want to know if we're still breathing. And we need our breath from moment to moment to survive. And if we stop breathing for even the shortest amount of time, if we hold our breath, there is this overwhelming desire, this overwhelming need that comes over us to gasp for that next breath. And as someone mentioned, our breath changes. It changes to accommodate the needs of our body. It becomes faster and fuller during physical activity, and it slows naturally when we become still and quiet. And we're waiting for something to happen. Someone said you hold your breath. Or even some of us exist in life, holding our breath in anticipation, worried and distressed. When we're startled, we might gasp for air. I've noticed recently that I might wake up in the middle of the night, startled by something that I was either dreaming or I felt, and I gasp for air. And our breath changes when we're laughing. It changes when we're sobbing and crying. And so our breath is very much a part of our life. It is our life force. And I told you all I was not going to take you back to high school biology class, but I wanted to just make sure that we understood a little bit about the mechanics of our breathing. Our breathing is the act of just pulling air into our body so we can bring in oxygen. And then we're letting it out so that we can relieve our body of carbon dioxide. And the human body is made up of about or over 37 trillion cells, and all of the cells of our body need oxygen to survive. And so that's what breathing does. It provides the oxygen that essentially our body needs. And this cycle of pulling air in and letting it out, it happens about 12 times per minute. And it mostly happens unconsciously. So we're not thinking about our breath coming and going. It just happens. Now, our breath is very similar to our heartbeat and our digestive system. It's regulated by our autonomic nervous system. And the autonomic nervous system is responsible for bodily functions that don't require conscious direction. The breathing is the only autonomic function in our body that we can actually consciously direct. Research has shown us that breathing is healing. It can help us to reduce our stress. It can help us to increase our athletic performance. It can also help strengthen our immune system. And you know now that we're using breath in all different ways when it comes to medicine, when it comes to healing. We're starting to use breathing techniques for people with diabetes, breathing techniques for people with asthma, COPD, and even cancer. And we're familiar with women being taught breathing techniques to help them with pain management when they're giving birth. And we also know that the Navy SEALs are given special breathing exercises to help calm them, but also to help increase their performance. Breath work can just help us to become clearer and most aware of what's going on within, because it starts from within. I want to do a quick explanation for you as to why that is. Share this with you. So remember what I was saying about the autonomic nervous system. It's responsible for our body functions that don't require us to think about directing them. So like our heart beating and our digestive system. So the autonomic nervous system has two branches: the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system keeps us alive. It's the one that lets us know when we have a threat. It makes our heart rate faster. It makes our blood pressure go up. It makes our breathing faster. So this is what is commonly known as the fight or flight response. Our parasympathetic nervous system is the nervous system that conserves energy, and it decreases our heart rate, our blood pressure, slows down our breathing. And it's during this time that our body is also able to digest. So this is commonly known as the rest and digest mode. So it's important to kind of remember that, because rapid breathing, so if you're changing your breath to go faster, that activates the sympathetic nervous system, so our fight or flight response. When you slow down your breathing, you're activating the rest and digest mode to slow things down. So the yoga breathing is the kind of breathing that I've been trained in. And we've got 3 different categories that we kind of like to refer to. The pranayama breathing is essentially a way of redirecting energy in your body. And the 3 categories of breath, there's hundreds and hundreds of breathing exercises. But most breathing exercises fall into these 3 categories. A category that kind of gets you going, kind of activates you, gives you energy. Another category is one to balance your breathing, bring you back to equilibrium. And another category is one to help you sleep. And so I've given these categories these 3 names. A category to kind of get you going, something that you might want to, an exercise you might want to use in the morning would be a grand rising breath. A breath exercise that you might use in the middle of the day or anytime you might feel anxious or you need to be productive, you feel yourself out of balance, is blissful balancing breath. And a breath that you might use in the evening to help you rest is called a grateful rest breath. And breath work, in general, it really helps to manage your mood. Again, it reduces stress and anxiety. It increases your physical performance, helps you with clarity and focus, improves your sleep, has a positive effect on managing pain, and helps to improve your overall well-being. Now, I want to spend the rest of our time together today kind of taking you through a couple of exercises that I think are super beneficial. Starting with some that are very, very basic. And the reason we're going to do some really basic ones today is because the simpler they are, the easier they are to remember. The easier they are for you to remember when to pull them out and use them. And if I give you something simple today, if you are, for some reason, in a traffic jam tomorrow, you will remember that you can access this very easy breathing exercise and use it willingly. Now, one thing that I want to make sure that everybody kind of gets on the same page right now is that your nose is for breathing, your mouth is for eating. Your nose is for breathing, your mouth is for eating. Now, oftentimes you'll see people will take deep breaths in and out of their mouths, and that's fine. There's, there are a couple of exceptions for using mouth breathing. If you have any kind of blockage or congestion, any kind of nasal obstruction, please do breathe through your mouth. But for our practice today, we definitely want to try to breathe through our nose. And when you are doing your breathing exercises, focus on breathing through your nose. There's all kinds of reasons that you don't want to do mouth breathing. There's all kinds of unhealthy things attached to breathing through your mouth. So you want to engage your nose and use it for this practice. I'm going to share with you two exercises. I try to get them in and not rush through them. But I want you to be able to have a balancing breathing exercise that you can go to very easily. Now, I shared a story last week in my newsletter about my oldest son, who is a freshman in college now. And he's doing his classes from home, not on campus this semester. So I run into him from time to time, usually in the kitchen. And the other day, he kind of had this crazy look on his face, kind of like, and I said, you know, what's kind of going on? He said, well, I've got this funny feeling right up here in the upper part of my abdomen, he said. I said, okay. And he just kind of looked kind of out of sorts. And so I said, well, what's going on? He said, well, I didn't sleep well last night. I think I'm feeling a little off. I said, well, are you stressed? He said, no, I'm not really stressed. I said, well, what's going on? He said, well, I've got this essay that's due. And I thought to myself, surely he's not stressed about an essay. He's a really great writer. He's received all kinds of accolades for his writing. So I couldn't imagine that he was stressed about a college essay. But then I realized that it is his first college essay. Never done a college essay before in his life. So it's the very first college essay. And as we had a little conversation, I dug a little bit deeper, he admitted that it was indeed the essay that was giving him some anxiety. And he talked about, is it going to be good enough? Do I really know what I'm doing? Are all the things I've learned before, are they appropriate for this? How do I know? And, you know, we kind of got into the weeds with all of that. So I asked him if I could share with him some exercises that he could do to really help himself. So first, we did a journaling exercise. And I'm very fortunate in that both of my sons are always willing to let me try things on them. And sometimes they believe they're actually going to work. Sometimes they're just doing it to appease me. But I really don't care. Whatever I can do to get them to actually do it, I go with it. But he was actually interested in helping himself to feel better. So we did a couple of journaling exercises, but one that is really the mother of all exercises is the brain dump. Whenever you're feeling anxious and you're feeling stressed, whether it's external stress because things are going on in the world, or if it's internal stress, whether you're second guessing yourself or you're worried about something or someone, doing a quick brain dump exercise where you just write out whatever comes to your mind. Don't worry about the spelling or crossing your T's or dotting your I's. You just butt in seat for at least 10 minutes, 15 to 20 if you can manage it, and just write. Get it all out. Do a brain dump exercise in your journal. After you do that exercise, follow it with this breathing exercise. We call this the belly breathing exercise, and it's not really a belly breath that's happening. It actually is a diaphragmatic breathing that's happening, but we call it belly breathing because it gives you a point of reference in your body. And you can do this exercise lying down, you can do it sitting, pretty much any time of the day you can do this. And what it does, it kind of brings you back into balance in a very simple way. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your right hand on your chest. You're going to put your left hand on your belly. And you're going to inhale. And you're going to inhale for a count of 4. And then you're going to exhale for a count of 4. Now, one little added feature to this is when you are doing your inhaling and your exhaling, try to create the ocean sound in the back of your throat. So the ocean sound, and hopefully the microphone will pick this up, but the ocean sound sounds like this. So you're going to inhale for a count of 4. So Inhale for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Now, when you inhale, you should feel your belly rise. This is especially prevalent when you are doing this exercise right while lying down. So if you decide to do it while lying down later, you'll actually see your belly rise. But if you're doing it sitting up like we're doing now, you'll feel your belly rise when you inhale. And when you exhale, your belly should fall. So I'm going to demonstrate it for you right now. So right hand on your chest, left hand on your belly. You're going to inhale, belly rise for 4. Inhale, belly rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, belly fall. 4, 3, 2, 1. So, and you're going to do that for 10 times. Okay? So we're going to try that now all together. Again, it's inhale, belly rise, 4 count. Exhale, belly falls, 4 count. You ready? Does anybody have any questions about that? Anybody unsure about anything I've demonstrated or said? Okay? Okay. Here we go. Inhale, belly rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, belly fall. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, belly rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, belly fall. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, belly rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, belly fall. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, belly rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, belly fall. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, belly rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, belly fall. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, belly rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, belly fall. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, belly rise. 1, 2.
Jonetta, are you with us? Lots of thumbs up.
Can you hear me?
There are a lot of people giving thumbs up.
Okay, there we go. I got to get you all back.
Jonetta, is there something in the holding of the breath between breaths? Like I wanted to just, I found myself holding while you were counting, and I don't know if that's beneficial or not beneficial. I mean, is it like breathe in, hold, breathe out, or is it breathe in, breathe out?
It can be either or. There's actually some other exercises where you are going to do a very purposeful hold. For what I was doing right now, it was just for the counting purpose. So you knew that you were going to, I was just giving you a prompt to know that now I'm going to exhale. There is a benefit for holding at the top, and it really does help to increase your capacity for holding your breath longer. So it is definitely beneficial. Message here. So is that helpful to answer your question, Jean? Anyone else have a question or want to share that kind of how they felt about that?
I just love that we got 10 breaths. Every time I take a breath workshop or learn a breath in a yoga class or at the beginning of a conference or whatever, you know, it's demonstrated and you do it once or twice with the presenter and then you're done. But to do it 10 times, you can actually feel different. And that was really nice. So thanks. I appreciated that.
Doing that rotation really does help you kind of really settle into the practice. When you do it a short amount of time, there is some benefit, definitely, but when you're doing it for the rotation of 10 times, you're actually going deeper into the practice and you're actually allowing the breath to slow down even more. I'm looking at the time here, and I really wanted to have an opportunity to hear a little bit more from you all, but I want to make sure that I get this one other exercise in before we end today. So I don't want to cut anyone off and make you feel as though I didn't want to welcome your comments, but I'm so excited about this exercise. It is my absolute favorite, and I would just feel so badly if I didn't share it with you today. I will say to you right now that I am going to send you a recording of both exercises so that you can do them. Okay, so you'll actually have the practice. I should have said that to you earlier. Didn't want you to feel like you had to write everything down and remember it all. We're going to send you an actual recording where I will guide you through both of the exercises. So know that that will be coming in your email probably on Wednesday, I believe. Is that what we said, Jocelyn, on Wednesday? Okay. Okay, so the next exercise that I'm going to teach you is called the gratitude breathing exercise. And the thing that excites me the most about this exercise is why it works, and then the research behind it. And so I have to share this, and please forgive me if I'm going very fast. I want to be respectful of your time, but I want to make sure I get this in for you. Gratitude, my gratitude practice I started a few years ago with just journaling, and I was amazed at how much it just changed my outlook on life. And using just journaling about things that I'm thankful for was a huge benefit. When I added the gratitude breathing exercise, I was like mind blown. It just was a game changer for me. I'm going to share with you why this works and why I'm so excited about it. There's an amazing group of scientists in Northern California with the Heart Math Institute. And they spent many years studying the interaction between the human brain and the heart. And they discovered that the heart is much more than just a pump of blood, pumping blood. This does so many more things. The heart is actually very similar to the brain. It has neurons just like those found in the brain, and the heart stores memories. And it has more links to the brain than any other organ in the body. And the heart and the brain have a tremendous influence on each other. And we know how much stress and panic and how all of that can affect our hearts. We know that if you have constant increases and speeding up of the heart rate, you can actually develop heart disease and heart failure based on just stress and all the other unhealthy things that come along with that. But the scientists at the Heart Math Institute decided that they wanted to find out what kinds of thoughts and images that came into the brain or were shown to the brain or introduced into the brain, which ones would have the most calming effect on the heart. So they tried love images, affection images, and courage, humility, compassion, all kinds of other thoughts. But the most powerful effect, most powerful calming effect on the heart was found when they introduced gratitude. So that was this amazing discovery that simply by thinking about something that you are thankful for, or grateful for, actually causes a calming effect on your heart. So the gratitude breathing and journaling exercise that I want to share with you is very simple. You are going to do something similar to what we did in the belly breathing exercise. You're going to slowly breathe in for a count of 6, and you're going to breathe out for a count of 6. But the difference is, hand on your heart, breathe in for a count of 6, and when you take in your breath, think of someone or something that you are grateful for. And in your mind, say the words, I am deeply grateful for. And as you exhale, think about your breath flowing gratitude throughout your heart and your entire body. You can do this exercise 1 time, 3 times, 4 times, it doesn't matter. But the more you do it, the greater the benefit is for you. So you can do this the 10 times like we did with the belly breathing exercise. You can do it 5 times if that feels good. But the idea is to really do it until you feel a sense of calm and connectedness. So I am going to really quickly demonstrate it for you. I know we're about out of time. Hand on your heart. You're going to slowly take in a deep breath for 6 counts. And then think to yourself something that you're thankful for. Say to yourself in your mind, I am deeply grateful for, fill in the blank. And then while you exhale, let the thought of gratitude fill your heart and think of it going throughout your whole body. Repeat it until you feel connected, until you have a greater sense of calm. Before you do this breathing exercise, if you will take 5 minutes to just journal about something that you are thankful for, it helps to center your mind and prepare you for the actual exercise. So journaling for at least 5 minutes, longer if you have the opportunity, about something that you're grateful for, something that you're thankful for. Do this breathing exercise. Do it as many times as you need to until you feel a sense of calm, connectedness. And I think that this is something that everyone should do. Like it really is. I rarely say that everybody should do this, but you really should. I think that you'll find that this is an exercise that, one, will bring you so much joy, but also that you will actually see real benefits in your perspective, your way of approaching things, your way of receiving things, helps you in your ability to create calm within yourself, and it helps you to be more connected to what's important to you and the world around you. So I know that I personally am super grateful to you all for sharing this last hour and a half with me, minus the few seconds that I was disconnected. But I really do appreciate you being here. If you have questions, I know there's a couple of questions that were sent to Jocelyn, and I'm going to answer those. If you've got questions for me, please feel free to email me. I'm going to share with you my email address. Can everybody see that? There we go. Send me an email. Give me a phone call. Reach out to me and let me know how I can be helpful to you for your practice. Again, I am going to send you both of these breathing exercises in a recording, and you should get that on Wednesday. And if you have any questions about incorporating breathing in your practice, I am happy to answer those questions for you. Jocelyn is going to, if she already didn't, give you a link to sign up for my newsletter. I am going to be doing some other breathing and journaling experiences later on in the year. And if you are interested in finding out about those, you can sign up for my e-newsletter. And again, I want to thank Kirkridge for inviting me to share with you today. And I appreciate Justine and all of your help in getting prepared and just being there and your support. Always my love to Jean and all of the amazing souls that make up the Kirkridge community for all that you do and for all that you share and for everything that you do to just kind of keep us going, especially during times like this. So thank you all so much. I can hang out for just a few minutes. I don't want to take anyone else's time and I don't want to impose upon Justine's schedule at all. But again, I'm going to answer the questions that I've got in the chat, and feel free to reach out to me via email, via phone, via text, whatever works for you.
Jonetta, so amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing this community together, for sharing your wisdom, knowledge, and experiences, and giving these tangible experiences and tools to help calm us in a quite uncertain world. I'm grateful for you, and I did put your website, and it's on a screen now. Please, for everyone who participated, please check out her stuff. Her journals, journal kits, and her personal growth work is profound. So Jonetta, thank you. Jocelyn, thank you.